Fallout Show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to That Fallout Show right here on We Just Love Games Network. You're listening to episode 71, The Trap. And in tonight's show, we're going to be covering episode 6 of That Other Fallout Show. I'm your co-host, Vendertron. Joining me this evening, as always, is Shalene. Hello, Shalene.
Hi.
And we have a special guest sitting in for Rick McVick tonight, Tim Twig 81. Hello, Tim.
Yeah, hey, I'm surprised you guys invited me back. And this chair still shaped like Rick's butt. I don't quite fit in it. I don't know that I ever will. But really glad you guys invited me back. I heart you guys. I miss you guys. I love this stuff. Let's do it.
It doesn't matter who's in the chair. We're just glad it doesn't squeak anymore.
So every
Confirmed does
time,
not squeak.
every time we have Tim on as a guest, I have flashbacks to that one time that we were planning to play Sea of Thieves with Rick, and Rick couldn't make it. And so we invited Tim, like, hey, Rick can't make it. Do you want to sail with us? So he's like, sure. And we're sailing happily, and then Rick jumps on the call because his thing ended early. And we were like, oh, hello. You're home early.
You're
we
home
hadn't
early.
even sailed yet. We were still loading up the
he
boat.
He was like, who is this?
But
Bloody
it
Rick.
felt so much like we were doing an infidelity.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody turned and had that brief moment of silence like,
Yeah.
oh.
Anyway, we sailed with Tim and it was a good time.
I really miss sailing.
I do too.
I really miss it. I really do miss it. Tim, how have you been? Welcome back to the show. How's life, buddy?
Man, at this current moment, as current events stand, I'm good. But it has been a really rough ride for the last few months, man. Oh my God. Work gave me like a couple of 60 and 70-hour work weeks. And then once that project died up, I got COVID and that locked me down for a while. And then I got on the other side of that and there was all this construction in my house and now that's all done. So I'm like, everything comes in threes. We're done, right? Right? Can I play some video games right now? Oh man, but I'm good. Like I'm so good right now. I'm settled back in. I installed some games and I've got free time in the afternoons again. So streams are starting to happen again.
Yay!
I'm so happy.
Oh, that's good.
So happy. It's good
I
times.
feel you. It's been a hard month. I can't even believe that it's August 30th. The month has just gone by so quickly. And it's a long weekend here, apparently.
Same.
I don't know what a weekend is, though. It's Labor Day here. I think we share that holiday.
Yeah, it's Labor Day here too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Can we briefly shout out the clear Mountain Dew can? Tim's using a
Oh my
green
God.
screen and drinking a Mountain Dew, and it makes me laugh so much. I think this is the funniest thing in the world.
I
If
do
you're
this a
audio
lot on
folks,
stream.
you might just log in to YouTube or Twitch just to see Tim's invisible soda because it's hilarious.
We are not sponsored by Mountain Dew.
Not
But we
sponsored
could
or endorsed
be.
But
by
we are
Mountain Dew.
sponsored by
Call us Mountain Dew.
Oak and Crow Coffee. If you head on over to oakandcrow.com, you can pick up a bag of Weeches of Coffee blend, and $2 from every purchase of that blend goes to the Children's Miracle Network. Don't forget to tell your friends about the show. Join us live on Fridays at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time right here on twitch.tv/WeJustLoveGames. We love people signing in live to listen to the show, but if you miss it, that's okay. How can people hear about the show and connect into their ear holes, Shalene?
Well,
Sorry, that was
eventually
weird.
I posted on podcast platforms. So no matter where you listen to podcasts, it's there. iTunes, YouTube, iHeartRadio. They killed a bunch of podcast platforms. I don't know which ones are still alive, but the ones that are still alive have this show on it, and also GameStack. That's there too. So it may take me a couple of weeks, but I'll get the show up there eventually. I swear.
Don't tell my friends at WJLG, but DameStack's my favorite.
GameStack or DameStack?
DameStack.
Dame with a D.
I mean, to be fair, DameStack is also our favorite. So
Okie dokie.
we should
Nice.
plan another one. It's been a while since we've recorded a Dames too. I should talk to the Dames.
Yes, it should happen, yes. But tonight we are covering episode 6 of That Other Fallout Show. We do have a little bit of news tonight. We are going to be covering an episode summary. Hopefully, if some of us have recognized maybe some of the references in the show. I'm not entirely sure. Jessica Starr seemed to be hinting at some things in this episode that were coming in the rest of the Fallout universe. We will cover a little bit of our Fallout gameplay, and I'm not sure if Shalene has any weapons in her pocket or
I don't
lore up
have
her sleeve.
any weapon of the week or lore segments this week. My life was too hard to make that happen.
So we will cap things
yeah.
off with that, and let's hop into it with this just in. Wait, that's the other show. Okay, take it away, Shalene.
You're gonna love our next segment.
Oh no.
Okay, some news. So I wanted to start out with I thought this was really interesting. So do you guys know who Tim Kaine is? He is one
No.
of the original creators of the Fallout franchise.
Oh.
Yeah, bro worked on Fallout 1. And I'm reading a PC Gamer article by Joshua Woolens here. And this is referencing a conversation that Tim Kaine had. And it's basically about what Fallout is about. And I feel like many of us see a pretty anti-capitalist message in the game. But on his YouTube channel, Tim Kaine posted that it was in response to a fan's comment saying that Fallout is a critique on capitalist and corporate greed. And Kaine's response was, and I quote, "Critique of capitalism was never the point of Fallout, because the game went out of its way to mention that other countries like China were also behaving terribly." And of course, this is very true. The entire world was horrifying in the Fallout universe. And there was a mess. And if anything, says Kaine, Fallout is a comment that war is inevitable given basic human nature, and the mode of production doesn't necessarily have all that much to do with it. That doesn't mean that Kaine disapproves of an anti-capitalist read, mind you. He says, "I don't think I have any themes that run in common in all my games, maybe mistrust of power, but people will interpret my games in all kinds of ways, and that's okay. Everyone brings their own perspective, and a story can mean different things to different people." And I thought it was really interesting what a tizzy this put some of the Fallout community into. We've talked in the past about how sometimes Fallout fans are the worst people in the world.
Mhm.
And they were actually deleting Tim Kaine's comments in the Fallout Reddit.
What?
Because they did not want to hear this. They didn't want to hear it. So
Well, I think it's important to recognize that
they were denying reality.
he was involved in 1 and 2, yes?
I believe so. I believe
Yeah.
both of them.
And his original concept for the Fallout series was pointing to the idea of
Mhm.
vaults being an element in preparation for leaving the planet because it was so destroyed to go to
Which
colonize
absolutely
another world.
ties into today's episode as well. So the timing on that's really pretty excellent.
But I mean, once Fallout, once he left Fallout and it was taken over, it went in a completely different direction. Obviously,
It really did.
because
Yeah,
there was
the
new
tone,
creators, right? So
the tone of later Fallouts is very different from the tone of early Fallouts. And I think that New Vegas is definitely more in the camp of early Fallouts because some of the same people worked on them. But the tone is different. And some say it's for better, some say it's for worse. I love both of them. And
I mean, the thing is I look at video games as a form of art, like any other thing, right? So my interpretation of it is going to be different from somebody else. Who's to say that who's to say that they shouldn't take a anti-capitalistic view on these pieces? I mean, if you want to say that, go ahead. Yeah.
I just thought it was
everything.
It was a really interesting commentary, and I feel like a lot of fans just incredibly overreacted to this one
People
in at
always
least
Mhm.
the communities that I follow, and it was kind of funny to watch
The
it
gaming
unfold.
community overreacting? No.
Opinions on the internet?
Shocked. I'm
know.
shocked, I tell you.
Oh,
They were canceling one of the original creators. At what point does the thing not belong to the person who
With
made
all
it
of this
anymore?
just
Like, where's the line?
right?
Ay,
Things can be more than one thing.
Yes.
That's the takeaway. Shalene, do you think at any
Yes.
point some of the later Fallouts became a little bit more aligned with this idea of anti-capitalism?
I don't really. I think it's definitely there is a sort of a comic spin put on it's hyperbole. That's what I'm trying to say.
This was me in my job interview today.
Yes. But Fallout is full of hyperbole. You know, you've got Liberty Prime stomping around the East Coast saying better dead than red while he throws nukes at communists. And it's hyperbole. And everything in the Fallout series is just too much, you know, and I think it's plainly all in good fun. It's not really, to me, it doesn't give a super serious message either way.
It's the Fallout twist of like the caricature of an alternate timeline. Like,
Caricature
why
is a
are
great
you
word.
upset about something that is so many degrees removed from actual reality?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Come
Now,
on, you guys.
can
Let
we-
the guy make his thing.
Can we take a step back here and talk about you, Tim, for a little bit? Because
On purpose?
you've played some of the Fallout games, obviously, or we wouldn't have you on the show. Which games have you played, and what's your perspective on this?
Okay, I'll summarize real quick. Back when I first bought my first PC with my money, it was to play Oblivion and Morrowind. But then I had a buddy of
Morrowind
mine
was
give me
good.
a disc, and it was Fallout 3. And
Mm.
I plugged it in, and I was like, this feels exactly like Oblivion. So I like it right away,
Mhm.
but the color palette's terrible. And then I made it to Megaton, and I was like, wow, you guys are weird. And then I accidentally blew up Megaton and then reloaded my game.
Oh no!
I reloaded the game. That's not canon. It didn't happen. We kept going with an actual Megaton. Everybody's still alive. It's fine.
You mean you didn't want any iguana?
Well, but I probably put like 50, 60 hours into Fallout 3 and then probably 30 into New Vegas. New Vegas, I actually want to go back and play. I own all these on Steam, and I probably will eventually one day because, GameStack. But the majority of my Fallout gameplay, Fallout Shelter, I downloaded that as soon as that went live during the
Mhm.
Bethesda conference. I carried that same save over into my Steam account, so that save is hundreds of hours. But then
Mhm.
I'm also recently I jumped back into 76. I played 76 for a bit when it first came out. It was real rough. First thing I got to do was get to the Wayrest and shot in the face by another player, and I was like, cool, that sucks. But now it's a whole nother game. 76 is so much better, and I implore everybody that maybe had a bad taste in their mouth, try it again. Whole new game. And I do admit I kind of bandwagoned. Everybody jumped on 76 is like, oh, I have that game, and I installed it too. So now my significant other, she's a daily player. She logs in, and I jump in a couple times a week, and we run around and shoot stuff. And I have no idea what's going on, but I'm just excited to be here.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
That's
great games.
fantastic.
I wish I knew more, and I love how deep you guys go about this kind of stuff. I've listened to all of your podcasts, by the way. If anybody out there in the podcasting world hasn't, I implore you, go back and listen to them. They're also really good.
Thank
And
you. That's so nice of you to say.
and I feel like you and we like mirror each other. I love listening to you guys talk about Fallout like you love listening to me talk about Doom. It's the same vibe. I'm sitting here like, tell me more. I want to play this game too,
Well, I think one
So
of the great things is that the other Fallout show, the Amazon Prime series, you don't have to love the Fallout games to watch and enjoy the series.
Yes.
And
no, you
so
don't.
I
Can
think
confirm.
I think
They're
you're
awesome.
Yeah, we're glad to have you on the show because I think you're going to bring a fresh perspective on things that and point out some things that maybe we didn't think about before.
absolutely. Yeah. It really is interesting how much this show has broadened the world of who knows what Fallout is. Uh I
Yeah.
we were where were we when that girl started talking about the TV show? We were buying my car, right? We were at the car dealership and they were trying to relate to us because he was wearing a Fallout shirt. And they were like, oh yeah, the show, it's pretty good, huh?
Salespeople will do anything to get you into that Bronco.
Yes, it worked. We bought the Bronco. I love
If
the
you go
Bronco.
back and they tell you that they have Pokemon,
Mhm.
you're gonna buy another Bronco.
Oh no, gotta catch them all the Broncos. Um, oh dear, I have gotten so badly derailed. Fallout
News. We're doing the
76.
news.
Fallout 76 is a game that most of us have played and many of us enjoy. And there's some news around this game coming up. We are swiftly approaching a new season, season 18. Can you believe we're at season 18 of Fallout 7? Can you believe it? Yes, Archon can believe it. I can't believe it. To me, the time has flown. But
Time flies when you're doing nothing but catching Pokemon.
um, by the way, we learned this morning that there's some kind of little fox creature, like some kind of demon fox Pokemon that will masquerade as your buddy, and then it's some kind of trickster spirit of
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Okay.
Pokemon Go is a wild place, you guys. But despite the
what you
fact
did
that
there.
Pokemon Go is having a new season, so is Fallout 76. And by the time that you're listening to this, audio folks, because most of you are the audio folks, this it will be out. But let's be honest with ourselves. It will be out. There are going to be a lot of Blue Ridge Caravan themed rewards, and the splash screen for the news article on Bethesda.net has got this amazing cowboy hat, and it reminds me of Crocodile Dundee. You know how Crocodile Dundee had the crocodile teeth in his
Yeah,
hat?
yeah.
Except it's bullets, and I think it's real fun. So,
Is there a knife? So you can pull it
um,
out and go, that's not a knife. That's a knife.
I mean, there are already some pretty fantastic knives existing in the game. So,
Can you get some
um,
like what is it? Gulper skin boots?
there's this amazing snakeskin suit in the game as part of the
I like the
not the most recent
caravans.
update, but the one before that.
I like that they're incorporating more
Mhm.
into the lore about the caravans.
I just wanted to hit a couple of the highlights on the community calendar
Yeah.
that was recently released. We've got the Milepost Zero update hitting on September 3rd, and September is jam-packed with different events. We've got double mutations, mutated public events, double XP, Murmurg special pick, that kind of thing.
Murmur.
In October, we've got a spooky camp competition.
Ooh.
And in addition to the normal stuff, there is a spooky scorched and trick or treat event running from October 22nd through November 5th. I always enjoy spooky scorched. October 23rd is Fallout Day, of course, commemorating the day that the bombs dropped. And I don't know what they have planned for this year. We'll have to wait and see. In November, we will have a Mole Miner Treasure Hunter weekend, and Invaders from Beyond event returns from November 12th through the 26th. The anniversary of Fallout 76 on November 14th, and the usual script surplus, double XP weekends, that kind of thing. And in December, in addition to another Treasure Hunter weekend, we're getting a Holiday Scorched event running from December 17th through January the 2nd, and they have teased a new update and season 19, and the camp showcase for that month will be the Enclave. So
Cool.
Lots of cool things coming up with this new Milepost Zero update that happens next week. We will be seeing the advent of the new legendary crafting system. So we are going to lose one currency from the game and gain another. No more legendary. Is it modules or cores? Is it modules or cores that they're dropping?
Course.
No more legendary cores, but there will be legendary modules. It's just it's a lot.
There's too many
And-
currencies.
We're going
There's too
scrap
many
now.
currencies.
Hmm?
Scrap now.
Hit me
Oh,
up
and you can put
when
them in
you guys are
scrap
doing
now.
that
That's
housing
exciting.
thing, the spooky housing contest. Hit me up. I love the homesteading and the camp building and all that stuff. So
Oh yeah.
I wanna
My
I wanna get down
favorite
on that
camp
one.
that I've ever made in 76 is a
down on
little
it.
haunted house.
Hmm.
And Archon's got a really good haunted house that he
Archon's
lives in
haunted
most of the time.
house is very good. I like going there for Mirelurk jerky
Hmm.
because
He also put in a walk-in closet for me. So
yeah.
Good man.
Did you say walk-in closet or a walking closet because it's a
ooh, I
spooky
wish it
house?
was the second one now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a haunted
that's
closet that walks. Yeah.
amazing. And it could
Mhm.
follow me around with
Yeah.
my wardrobe in it.
Yeah, like when
I
you
could
play
change
Mario
at
and
a
then you
moment's
turn around and it
notice.
stops following you.
I love it. I love it. They're also introducing a new caravan sort of event. It's kind of like
Okay.
escorting the caravan in the tunnel, the riding shotgun event, but it
Okay,
is
yeah.
different than that because you have to invest in the caravan with caps and then you protect the caravan because you're invested. And I have heard rumors that they may delay that because it's not working quite right. So we'll see if that rolls out on time as scheduled. Other things that we hope roll out on time as scheduled are Fallout Season 2. Season 2
Yeah.
of that other Fallout show. We are very excited for that. And we've got an article here from Tom's Guide about release date rumors and some plot speculation, that kind of thing. And let's see here. We don't have much confirmed information. They have stated that they are going as fast as they possibly can, and a lot of the work is already done thanks to season 1, including sets, assets, and visual effects.
Mhm.
So it will be much easier for them to create season 2 than season 1. According to Tom's Guide, they're guessing not to expect Fallout Season 2 until early 2026.
That's
which
not
seems
too far
fair.
away.
It feels far.
Comment in
Feels
chat. Thought it was
far.
confirmed it would be delayed.
I think he's referring to the caravan thing. I am not sure. But if you've seen that it's confirmed, then it probably is. I've
Mhm.
been a little bit out of the loop the last couple of days. So definitely willing to accept that somebody else has newer information than I do on that. And our
Well, let's
final
hope
bit of
season 2 gets
news.
Just
here
one
soon,
other thing I
'cause
want to
it's
mention
really good.
about one other thing I want to mention about this interview, Shalene. The rap, which is where this article is originally based on, the show director Jonathan Nolan said that while season 1 dropped all at once, we can probably expect the same for season 2 with Amazon Prime. He said for some series it makes sense to do it that way for the first season and not necessarily that way going forward, which maybe hints that we might not actually see it all at once. I don't know.
I would really rather they space it out. That would sure make it easier to do a podcast about it.
Boy, let me tell you,
Yeah.
the show's been out for 4 months and we're halfway through.
Mhm.
But that's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, if you'd like something to do while you're waiting for the next episode of that Fallout show to come out, you can absolutely check out the original Fallout Classic Collection. It's free on Epic Games right now. And
Oh.
I am struggling to get this into a readable font size. Yes, this week the Epic Games Store is giving away the Fallout Classic Collection. So there's some really neat stuff in there. You can check it all out. The original game, Fallout from 1997,
Cool.
and the sequel, which was released in 1998. And yeah, it's so good. They're so good. They are the Fallout Collection's third game is Tactics, Fallout Tactics, Brotherhood of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
And I find this so interesting because the writing in these early Fallout games is so good. but the gameplay is so brutal. And if you don't have the nostalgia goggles for this gameplay, it can be really, really tough to get into it.
Yeah.
What about the
Um,
tactics one? Please tell me the
Tactics,
tactics is good because I love a good tactics game.
you know, it's called Tactics, but I found it pretty similar to Fallout 1 and 2.
Hmm.
And of course I'm not an expert on tactics games in any way, shape, or form. I haven't played many of them, but I did not find this very different from any other isometric game that I've played. So, tactics was fun though. It was good. Um, yeah, I definitely say it's worth checking these out, even if you don't see every nook and cranny of these worlds, just to know your history, children. Learn where Fallout came from, and um, you can even find some characters and storylines that have carried through
Yeah.
into the modern games. And have you guys played any of the early Fallouts? You've played the ISOs?
No, the
No.
earliest Fallout I've played is Fallout 3.
You should definitely jump into the ISOs one of
I
these
have
days,
all
Bender.
of them. I have all of them. On
You
Steam.
should definitely
Yeah.
give one a shot. Taz in the chat says that Tactics was really tactical.
Mm.
And honestly, I would trust his opinion more than mine on that because I don't know a ton about tactics.
EA Sports. It's in the name. Wait, that's not how it goes.
Missed it by that much.
Anyways, that's the
Yeah.
news.
Congratulations on being prepared for the future.
And now we're going to hop into the best part of the show, the actual show about the show. Show.
The reason you're all here.
Episode 6 of Fallout on Amazon Prime. And
Yeah.
Shalene, do you want me to you've been talking a lot with the news. Do you want me to take this one?
It's up to you, Vendor. Whatever you want to do.
So you guys have been just, like scrubbing through the show. You might want to be a little careful with this one as you scrub through.
Yeah, there's some
there's
boobs in this
Nudity?
one. Mhm.
There's
I forgot. I
there's
don't remember.
some dirty pillows in this episode.
He's right. He's right.
Oh.
There's some bosoms in
Okay.
this one.
But it all
He's-
happens pretty close to the end, and we all know, like,
Sure.
yeah, just
The other
just
thing
as
I
a heads up, because
Oh,
I recently
before
had a
we
couple
hop
of my videos blocked on YouTube because Baldur's Gate.
before we hop into this episode, Tim, I want to get your perspective on the first 5 episodes, just very briefly. What do you think of the season so far? What do you think of the show so far?
Okay,
Because
so
we haven't had you on, right? So we haven't actually really gotten your perspective on.
no, this is my first time with this this section, this pillar of your. Well, okay, so I did watch the entire season. I am a fan of the games, not just like a super fan, but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
a fan, a casual fan. So like I got a lot of the kind of two-pronged jokes about this is a game and this is a show and this is a game, this is a show, and these are how these kinds of things work. And I absolutely loved the events in the show that felt like a game, like when she first met that guy who was in his yard, and it truly felt like she was going through a dialogue tree, and then like he drank her water and the conversation was done, and I was like, then she walked away like, okay, okie dokie, let's go do something else, and like, and Ghoul's comment about how thou shalt be distracted every time, like I get it. There's
Mhm.
so many puns that they just casually slid into the show, and I know there's Easter eggs aplenty. I probably didn't get half of them, but I loved the translation. This is one of the best game to other medium here translations I've seen in a long time.
Okay.
I binged the whole series. I chewed the whole thing down in like 2 days,
Yeah.
3 days maybe. Episode 5 really set up some stuff, and
Yeah.
this episode kind of like swung at the tee, and we don't get to see how far the ball flies. Sorry for the sports reference just yet, because there's still a couple episodes to go on that. But this episode is where my hackles went up, my spidey sense went up, and when I was like having all kinds of fun for those first few episodes, this one was like, sit back. Oh, that's what's going on. Like when Lucy was, finally getting the behind the scenes in that vault, and we're seeing flashbacks for the ghoul's life and everything, and you're starting to the show starting to give you the pieces, and you're like, oh no, oh no, and
Mhm.
I'm really interested to get some of the stuff that maybe I missed, but
Yeah, we had in the
love
last
this. So
episode
good.
that Rick and Shalene and I did on episode 5, we really sort of emphasized that it's really a building episode, that it was just building on a lot of different relationships and
Mhm.
Yeah.
characters within the show, but it didn't really add to the overall plot of things, more or less. But in this episode, Shalene, take it away.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into it.
Yeah. So the episode starts out with Walton Goggins doing some sort of like black and white ad.
Right. He's filming a commercial for Vault Tech, and he gives us a little tour through Vault 4, which we will see later on in the show as well. And it's really neat seeing him in this same hallway that we see later on in the episode. I want to say in the game, but later on in the episode, we see the current state of that vault. It's so fascinating. And we meet this family of scientists who are doing sort of a test run in this
Yeah.
vault.
Yeah.
And
I do like in this scene that Goggins does his thing. He's doing his script, and he just takes his cigarette and he like puts it out. Like he just has a general lack of interest for the
Mhm.
whole process of the vaults and everything that has to do with the vaults. But he's doing this commercial because he has to, because he's an actor, and that's just the way it is. I just thought he has this, like, he really sort of portrays this general disdain for like corporations.
well, I feel like he's doing it very specifically because he loves his wife and she asked him to.
Yes,
Mhm.
but he
I
doesn't
feel like
actually
that's
want to do it.
strongly emphasized throughout the whole thing. He's doing these ads because he loves his
Mhm.
wife and she asked him to do it.
Yeah. And then it sort of flashes to Goggins and he says,
Okay.
call now.
Can we talk about the number?
Yes.
Did anybody call the number?
Tim, did you call the number?
I did not, but I did see an article scroll by that I didn't click on because I'm a terrible internet dweller. That said it's a real number.
Yes.
It is a real number.
I can't call the number because for me it's like really long distance, but for you, Zoom is giving me the thumbs up.
213 area code is Los Angeles. I was there this morning. I could have easily
Well,
just...
the report is if you call the Vault Tech number, you get 15 seconds of simultaneous and endless screaming.
Yeah, Archon and I called the number
Before
and
it cuts
it's
out.
pretty funny. It's pretty funny. Didn't it start out as something else besides the screaming? No, it was just the screaming. Okay, just the screaming. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, it was. I thought that was kind of cool. Obviously, if you're going to put a phone number on the screen in a Fallout show, everybody is going to call the number on the screen in the Fallout show.
I like
I
that they
also
covered their
really-
bases and made it an actual number that
Well,
you could call.
exactly.
Though. That was kind
How
of
many
neat.
how many videos? Call 555-555-5555.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then it's funny because it flashes out of the commercial and they're like, cut, that's a wrap. And we goes to color. And Goggins is in the actual vault. A bunch of corporate goons are there from
where they
Vault
filmed,
Tech.
yeah.
His wife is there as well. We learn a few things about Vault 4. We know that it's made with 3-foot lead ballasts, and it was originally designed for 200 dwellers, but initially crewed by a group of 80 individuals who identify as scientists or who are scientists only. And the whole idea behind it was that they're sort of like an enlightened group, that they would not have to deal with conflict and they would focus on developing, different types of experiments. And
This was their control group.
yeah, essentially. Yeah.
Let's talk about Bud for a minute. Bud introduces himself to Cooper.
Sleazoid. Oh my god.
Mhm.
Instant dislike. Oh my
This
God.
is probably one of the more stronger moments where we see Cooper's dislike for corporate
Mhm.
Vault Tech.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And he's just so oblivious to the fact that he has no soul, this guy. Like, and Howard makes a comment about something that a human being would say or do. I don't remember what it was, and I think it was regarding the power armor, because he
Mhm.
makes a comment about how, yeah, we got that power armor out even despite all the flaws, and Howard says, I served in that war and a lot of good men and women died next to me wearing that power armor because of its flaws, and he just completely dismisses it, just
Oh yeah.
completely
Water off a
dismisses
duck's
it.
back.
And he's like, no, 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 no. Let's talk about my big ideas here because I am a sociopath.
Mhm.
And I love how you don't really take Bud as seriously as maybe you should.
Hmm. I made that mistake because when
Uh-huh.
you see him again, I was like, no. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I made that
Mm-hmm.
exact mistake.
Mm-hmm. He is quite a villain, and I feel like it's not coded well enough here. And that was the intent. They want to shock you. They want to shock you later on with the return of Bud.
Nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can I just say how great Walton Goggins looks in that suit?
He looks great in everything.
It's a great suit. And the skinny tie is just it's so good. Then we have this weird kind of scene where Cooper tries to give a little bit of display of affection towards his wife, and she kind of like brushes him off.
She's plainly uncomfortable with the PDA because she is at work. She's
Yes.
at
Yeah.
work right now, and he is not taking her job seriously.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And even though I know Vault Tech is evil, I was 100% fully on her side in this moment. She's at work. She is a leader of these people. Take her
She's
seriously.
trying to make a name for herself.
Take this
right
woman
here.
seriously. She's a professional. Take her seriously.
Mhm.
And she goes on to he's trying to tempt her away to have pina coladas at the hot tub. She tells him there's a wrap party. He says, well, we'll go for a couple hours and then ditch it. And she's like, it's at our house.
Yeah, so she didn't actually tell him that it was happening.
Oh,
So I mean,
Nope.
clear miscommunications in this relationship. They're already on Rocky Train.
I think she did that on purpose because she knew he wouldn't fight.
Yep.
mhm,
Yeah, you're right.
She waited until the 11th
mhm,
hour and she would know that he just, the things that I would do for you,
Mhm.
because that's, he
mhm.
would do anything for her and she knows it. So, yeah.
Yeah, and then
Does the
Alvino
end justify
Ray,
the means in that one? I'll keep my opinion to myself.
Dardanella by Alvino Ray and his orchestra start playing, and then we move into the next scene, which is the actual party itself and this house, Shalene.
Yeah.
It's so lovely.
It's so nice. And Goggins looks actually really good here. You know, he's chilled back a little bit. He's in his element. He's in his home. There's just a lot of intruders in here. And I love that there's a dog. And he tells
And
him to
the
be a
dog
good boy and
has
go to
a
bed.
teddy bear in his bed. Can we go back to the dog? Skip back
The
to the dog.
Teddy bear is an absolute 100% faithful recreation of the teddy bear that I just picked up in Fallout 76.
Yes, it is. And I also feel that the teddy bear is a bit of a callback to the early episodes where we have the canine I've forgotten its call number. We've just been calling it dog meat, but
Mhm.
dog meat had that teddy bear, and I feel like it's a bit of bookends on this.
Yeah.
With that dog and its teddy bear and Walton Goggins' dog, Roosevelt, and Roosevelt's teddy bear. And he's coming down the stairs.
Well,
He
before
has this
that,
massive.
I just want to call out this camera pan to the newspaper that's on the bench in his dressing room or his room or whatever. It's the Capitol Post, which I thought was a little bit interesting considering we're in California. Why wouldn't it be
Yeah.
like the LA Post?
Well,
or something?
California's got a capital too.
I mean, I guess so.
But it's spelled with an O, Capitol. So meh, semantics. But I like that this is just a split-second blip. Red's losing territory. It gives you kind of a bit of an idea as to the status of the world and which way it's shifting, and they lean into that a little bit when Coop gets into a conversation here coming up.
I also like that there's a small side article that says Wilson Automatoys face lawsuit over Giddy Up Buttercup.
I didn't notice that.
It's pretty good.
That is so delightful. I wonder if you could zoom in enough, if you had the technology, if you could zoom in enough to read
Enhance.
the newspaper. That would
Yeah.
be neat.
Yeah.
But definitely, as he's coming down the stairs, there's this movie poster, Cooper Howard starring in A Man and His Dog, and Roosevelt was the dog in the movie,
So
which
good.
just shows you what a good dude Cooper is, that he met this good dog filming the movie and took him right home. And that's also a reference to the post-apocalyptic classic A Boy and His Dog.
Yep. So he's
Yeah,
making his
so-
way through the party here. And I've lost my place on the script. Sorry.
I'm so sorry. He's schmoozing the party, and shortly here he bumps into Bud again and just completely dismisses him,
Well,
just
hold on.
like the viewer did. Go ahead, Tim.
Speaking of dismissing, because of the way Archin's kind of scrubbing through, we skipped over the look. Coop walks down the stairs after lighting his cigarette, makes it to the base of the staircase, surveys the room. At the end of his pan, he sees his wife. She's over there talking to some folks under some beautifully lit section of the room, and she locks eye contact with Coop, and they both kind of have that split-second understanding where he goes, "You did this," and she's like, "I know," and then he walks off. Instead of going to her,
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
"Hey baby,
He's
love
like,
you,
"Ugh,
I'm gonna go schmooze,"
I'm gonna
he
go
just like,
drown my sorrows
I'm
by
gonna
the
go over
pool
here
with
now.
a cigarette. Yeah.
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
who does he can run into but this guy?
Yeah. He's like,
Ugh.
yeah, thanks for coming. Yeah, great. Okay. Then he wanders out to the pool and he runs into none other than Sebastian Leslie, the voice of the Mr. Gutsy.
I got that
in,
reference. I got that reference, you guys. I got that one.
in the show, which I think a lot of people were on the fence about. Hey, Shalene?
Super disappointed that it was a different voice actor. He does do a great Codsworth, but I was super disappointed that it was not Stephen Russell.
So that's not the original guy.
Yes. Yeah. No,
Aw,
it's not. It's
sads.
not Stephen Russell. Yeah. He does do a great job though. And Sebastian Leslie has he's got a background in other shows as well, I believe. Though I can't quote you on that. I'm failing you guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's a great actor. He's a great actor, and he does a fantastic job. I'm not trying to diminish anything that he did. I just think it's a little disappointing that it's a different voice.
I, Bartholomew Codsworth, am ever ready to serve. And
See, it could have been you. It
yeah,
could
I
have been
know.
you in this show.
They're sitting down at the pool. He says that to Cooper, and he's laughing, and he's trying to hit on the girls, the servers at the party by the
I
pool,
love that they're just like, yeah, no.
and they're like, "No, no, thanks. All
no,
right,
thank you. Bye.
yeah." And then Coop sits down. He's like, "Not your usual scene. I'll give you that." And he's like, "No, it's not." And then he says something like, "I think our Hollywood actor friends don't want to be seen celebrating with the pitchmen for the end of the world," which I thought was an interesting line. Yeah, and
None of his friends showed.
Mhm.
Yes, yeah,
Just this guy.
yeah, and yeah. Any other comments about this scene, Shalene?
I just thought it was really interesting, and it does lay some of the groundwork for the fact that we are going to dive into the sort of Red Scare situation, which of course was a real thing in America when the Communist Party took root in Hollywood, and people got pretty upset about that. I mean, the government was upsetty spaghetti that these actors had opinions, and it's definitely something that is going to play a huge part later on in the episode.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
like that he dodged the conversation with Bud and instead came out here and talked to this guy about corporate power mongering.
Mhm.
Two sides of the same coin, man.
And it's funny that they are talking like, oh, terrible corporations and those freaking communists in the same sentence. You know, they're saying the same things the communist would say and then cursing the communist in the same breath. Really funny. And of course, he learns that one of his friends has been attending the communist meetings. Dum, dum, dum.
Yes, that's right. We learn about that for the first time, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Coop follows that lead too. He does. The curiosity starts to get the better of him at this point. After the conversation with that guy, there's something that clicks in Coop's mind, and you can kind of see it throughout the rest of the episode. You know, he starts looking for info in places he wouldn't normally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to just continue forward?
Yes.
Those pocket protectors, though.
Yeah, and that's sort of the
It has
intro.
references the McCarthy hearings. It's exactly what I'm talking about.
And then we're in real time. And Coop is waking up in the Super Duper Mart where he just raided a bunch of his favorite drugs that keep him alive.
So many
yeah.
drugs. He did so many drugs just before this.
He's waking up from his binge on the floor
Waking
in
up
the
at
Super
full
Duper.
strength.
Yeah.
I really did feel that the segment just before this that got him into this state was very out of character.
And he wakes up, and who's standing over him?
Please.
None other but the NCR Rangers.
Homeboy is wearing his cowboy hat backwards.
Maybe
oh my
that's-
Note that I would've
gosh.
Maybe that's a
noticed.
wasteland thing, but that's a good observation, Shalene.
I mean, I grew up around a lot of cowboy hats.
Yeah.
With
And
all of the
Absolutely.
detail in the show, don't you wonder how that one got
I
missed,
feel
or
like
if it was on purpose?
intentional.
Oh, no,
I
Tim.
feel like it was intentional because these guys are very deliberately dressed as, you know, very bad imitations of a West Coast sheriff, you know.
Yes. Did you also notice in some of the previous episodes, Tim, how some of the buses and cars have fully inflated rubber tires intact?
I heard the rant and I totally agree. I made that same argument with the Ghostbusters trailer where they got Ecto 1 up and running and were drifting through the streets. I was like, there's no way those tires would be powder.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Mhm.
totally agree.
Anyways, we see the splash of the new Fallout lettering for this episode, and it is a very irradiated green color.
Very, very strong Fallout 3 vibes on this one.
Hmm.
That's about the right color palette. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then we flash to a new scene. We're outside Vault 4, and this is after the bombs have dropped. And sorry, I keep losing my place here in the script. And then we're Lucy. Lucy is in the vault. They fell
This
down
scene.
the secret shaft
Mhm.
into Vault 4. Is it Vault 4 that they're in? No.
It is Vault 4 that they're in.
It is
It
4.
is. And Lucy said, like, we're in the best place in the world, the
Yeah.
vault.
Of all the places,
And-
this is where you want to be.
The doctor is treating I've just blanked on his name, Maximus.
Maximus.
He's treating Maximus's wound. And the doctor pulls out a rotten tooth. They loaded a rotten tooth into the gun and fired it.
That's very
That's
Doom
so
Dark Ages.
gross.
I like it.
So gross.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely gross.
Mhm.
And yeah, she's like he's it's funny because the emotions between the two of them have completely flipped. Lucy is calm, collected. She's
Yeah,
in
she's the one
she's
in
in
a
her
familiar
element.
place.
She knows what's going on. She's like, come with me, I'll take care of you, sort of thing. But seconds before they fell down this hole, it was the other way around. Maximus was like, we
Mhm.
can't go in there. Are you crazy? Like, you know? And now he's terrified. Like, he has no idea who these people in these robes are with these masks injecting him with things. Like, they just have, he has no idea.
Yeah.
He was
Completely
born
out
on the
of his element.
surface, right? Yeah.
And Lucy has a conversation with a figure on the other side of the glass because they are being held in quarantine. And this character, I believe her name is Birdie, basically welcomes them to the vault and reassures them, we're going to take care of you guys and you can stay as long as you need to, rest up so your friend can recover. Everything's great. Love you.
I was like, nope, not having any of this, Shalene, because she was like, oh yeah, I was born on the surface. My mother was a courier, and I was
Mhm.
11 and traveled with her to Philly, and 3 days walk from our home, and I could still feel the heat from the blast. And I'm just kind of like, this woman, she looks actually like she's crazy.
Mhm.
Like,
Her comments caught Lucy flat-footed where they were taking in refugees in this vault, and that
Mhm.
made Lucy pause for a second, and she's like, what, don't you take refugees in your vault? She's like,
we don't let anybody
no,
in.
like,
That's
Yeah.
rule number 1. You don't let anybody
No
in
one
the
ever
vault.
enters and
So-
no one ever leaves.
so she was totally on the tracks, and then all of a sudden there was just that,
Mhm.
Yeah.
wait, what?
Yeah. And yeah. Carry on, Shalene.
Yeah, there's definitely some feelings of suspicion.
Mm-hmm.
And this they have this conversation, Maximus and Lucy, while they're waiting in quarantine. They've got to wait off their quarantine for a little while. And
Got some time to kill.
Tim, you're giving a little snicker over there. Do you want to describe this conversation?
This one, I giggled at this because they have such a differing world that they come
Life
from.
experience, yeah.
But we as human creatures, we all have one thing in common that we like to do. I'm not going to say it here, but I'll just let you guess. And since they had some time to kill, she made a proposition that caught this guy off guard. And he believes in his heart of hearts that he was told that it would be bad for him. And she looks at him and is like, no, that's normal. That's supposed to happen. It's actually what you want to happen. But okay, whatever. And you can tell he's still trying to, low intelligence stat on Maximus. But the cogs are clicking and the window is gone. And you can see he goes, oh, damn. I missed that one.
I
Totally missed that one.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then for him, you could see something flips right there because he didn't look at her like that before. And then now he's got that one, brain cell in the back of his head that's like,
I love that
I
I love
wonder.
that all of this is transpiring while Percy Faith's theme from A Summer Place is playing in the
Mhm.
background. It's just
That was
so
the perfect background
it was
music.
so good, right?
Mhm.
And Lucy is like this primitive, she turns into this like primitive animal. She's like, you smell good. You want to have sex? And he's like, what?
I wouldn't go animal. I'd say she was more kind of clinical. Like, it's just a thing.
She was precise
Yeah.
about it. Yeah, like
Yeah.
she grew up in the vault and you just did it because that's what you did.
Yeah.
But
There's
it
no
was funny
weirder
because he
than
was like,
cousin
well,
stuff.
he's like, I don't know, because there's like that weird thing that happens.
Turns into a blister and pops.
The difference with these two in their level of education on the
Mhm.
subject and their level of comfort. Maximus has clearly been raised to believe that this is an evil thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
and that he must never.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, he's like,
has-
I'm a knight of the
yeah,
Brotherhood. We're not
yeah,
supposed
we're not
to.
supposed to do that. And
And then we hear her
um,
say,
Okie
okie
dokie.
dokie.
And she just moves on like it ain't no thing.
like,
Mhm.
it ain't no
And for her, it's
thing.
not.
But his face right there.
And he realizes he missed his chance.
Yeah. Dumb.
Yeah.
And she's got the look of, well, too bad.
Hmm.
Maybe next time.
The framing above the door said test subjects. Now,
Yes.
Mhm.
me from my outside perspective thought that a little odd. What kind of test are they?
Mhm.
Mhm.
And obviously they're in quarantine because, right, quarantine. But wouldn't they call it quarantine?
You would think so. I also thought that was super suspicious.
Yeah.
It feels like they're just trapping surface dwellers to run
Yeah.
nefarious tests on them.
I think this is where
Mhm.
my first pass through was like, oh, they're rats in a maze now. Uh-oh.
I love it because they're walking through and Lucy's all happy. She's totally back in the world that she knows,
Mhm.
saying hi to people. And he's like, this is a cult. This is
Yeah,
a cult.
he
And
just
she's like,
flat
it's not,
tells her.
she's like, it's not a cult. Everyone's
Yeah.
smiling. He's like, everybody is smiling. And she's like, this is a safe place where people take care of each other. And he's like, why?
But you know what's
She's like,
really
because it's a
interesting
vault.
to me is that the last time we were in like a dining room like this having a meal, it was at Lucy's wedding. And we all remember how that went.
Mhm.
And that feeling is in the back of my mind as I watch this. And even though Lucy's super comfortable trying to share her sugar bombs, there's that feeling of worry of what's going to happen next.
So they're sharing a meal and Lucy feeds him. I don't understand this weird part of the story.
I didn't think that was weird. She's really trying to convince him that he's safe and it's okay. Have some sugar bombs. my
He's
guy.
quite literally
mean-
being spoon-fed some comfort
Mhm.
The
at this
Blamco
point.
mac and cheese does look very good. And then we
Mhm.
pan over to an interrupted meal by Overseer Benjamin.
Can I
Overseer
drop the F-bomb here?
Benjamin is
Please.
go ahead.
What the is up with that guy's face?
Overseer Benjamin is the overseer of Volo 4, and he comes over. He wants to say hi to Lucy and Titus, and obviously welcome them to the vault, and just tell them a few housekeeping things. Stay out of level 12.
And
Obviously.
sign up if you want to play foosball. There's only the one table.
Yes. And
Weird bit.
and there's no
Okay.
pencil on the sign up sheet, so let him know. But yeah, you're right. He's a Cyclops. His Cyclops.
So do you think they tried a version where he only had one eyebrow?
Maybe.
Oh my god, I didn't even notice.
Because he has two eyebrows. And I just really wonder if they tried
I
a
mean,
version where he
I
only has one.
secretly want to know what else he only has one of, Shalene.
Ew, Vendor, no, bonk, no horny.
No,
Um,
like, does he only
so-
have one nipple? Is it in the middle? Does he have 3 belly buttons?
He's got 2 eyebrows. I have to assume 2 nipples.
That's what you would think.
I
The
don't know.
eyebrow to nipple ratio tends to be 1-to-1. But we'll
I
No,
do like that he makes the assumption that they're from the surface, and he's like, "Oh, if you're unfamiliar with how the bathrooms work, just ask me."
It's way less embarrassing to ask than to make a mistake in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had incident after incident of newcomers, and thought we should just cover that. Yeah.
And I really appreciate that Birdie looks at him so fondly. Like she's really looking at him in a kind way. You know, she really appreciates this guy.
Mm-hmm. And they lay an eerie music over the scene, just to sort of like
there's some
give you a
suspense.
feel for
there. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
So that was some good theatrics by the editing team. But here we get a better shot of their meals. They've got so Lucy has some sugar bombs in a bowl. She's
Some
got
tater tots.
tater tots and
Is that chocolate pudding?
chocolate pudding,
Mhm.
and the rolls. I don't know what the rolls are, and sausages.
I can't quite tell. I feel like it's maybe some Fancy Lad snack cakes or something.
Yeah.
And he's got some oatmeal sausage, the Fancy Lads, the tater tots, and the pudding.
And Lucy is totally in denial, right? Like the overseer walks away, and
I don't feel like she was in denial at all. I feel like this
well,
was a
this part
defining
right
moment.
here, right? Because
Mhm.
he's like, that was weird, right? And she's like, what? People being nice? And he's like, no.
No. It happened
She's-
kind of the other way around.
She
She's
asked-
the
Oh,
one
that
who
was
she
weird,
said
said
right?
it.
was
She said
weird.
it. Sorry. Thanks
Yeah.
for correcting me.
Yeah.
And this is the moment where it flips. And instead of being completely comfortable and at ease, Lucy is now suspicious and Maximus is now relaxed.
Now, I got a quick question. Would it be a spoiler to ask, are Cyclops like a thing in the
No.
Fallout
No, they're
lore?
not.
Because I mean, I don't know,
We
but
were
everybody
completely
in the
taken by
scene thought it was
surprise.
weird, so I'm
I
there
was
too.
I was kind of mad when we saw the Cyclops in the original trailer, because that was something that was so out of Fallout canon.
Is it?
Um, yeah, it's absolutely
So,
something we've
of
never seen
all of
before.
the things in the Fallout universe that get mutated to hell and back, this guy's missing one eye and it's weirding everybody out. I
Hmm.
like the irony there.
Irony.
Uh, you cop, thank you.
I see what you did there.
Mm.
Love you, Shaylee. I
Blink
love
and you
that
miss it.
I was just yeah, blink and you'll miss it.
Anyways, Gene Armstrong and his Texas Nighthawks Lonely Hour starts playing after their conversation when they walk away, and it says, "Have a nice day." Um, and yeah, that's I think.
And we began to see, no, carry on. We began to see some other strangeness in the vault. This gentleman has got an extra nose on his forehead, and he's just smiling at everybody, living his best life.
So
And
you guys talk about this a little bit. I just got to step away for like 20
Mhm.
seconds.
Sure. And we see some people wearing coverings over their head that Lucy, I think, well, we can't say for sure because we're not inside her head, but I assume she's thinking, what's under that guy's cap? If this guy had an extra
Yes.
nose,
She
what
does
is
note
that
that
guy
there's a lot of
hiding?
shower caps in the room. That's when she notices and she looks around. She's like, wait, there's a lot of shower caps
Mhm.
after the one guy shows off the extra bit there. So we got an extra nose, one less
Mhm.
eye, and this is where Tim, not knowing the Fallout lore and universe, is like, okay, yeah, radiation does mutate things, but these guys are like safe in the vault. But if they're starting to
Mhm.
let refugees in, does that mean they're bringing in some of those mutations? Like, what other kind of mutations are going on? Do we have like an
That was my
island of Dr.
assumption as
Moreau
well.
situation happening? Like, what is going on here?
Yes. um Vendor Tim brings up a really good point, that we see these people with these mutations and we feel like, oh, this has got to be happening because they're taking in refugees, right? But boy, were we wrong.
Yeah. Uh,
Wrong about so many things this episode. Scroll forward.
They're inbred? Is that what you're telling me?
No.
worse.
So we're scrolling forward and we are back out with Cooper in his ghoul form, current ghoul Cooper, and he is being escorted somewhere by these sheriffs, who are plainly just super inept. It's just, and we flash back to his life, his prior life before the bombs. He's in the hot tub with his lovely wife, and they are enjoying some
Correction,
martinis.
that is a Japanese ofuro tub.
He is in the Japanese ofuro. Can you explain to me, can you explain to the uninitiated, plainly uncultured listener who does not know what a Japanese ofuro tub is?
It's basically like a cedar
Hot
tub.
tub?
It's a cedar tub. And it's a standalone tub that's like a traditional, because bathing rituals are a big part of Japanese culture. Anyways, these tubs are super expensive and I want one.
I was
is
gonna
very
be
fancy.
really, really mad at you if you said, oh, it's a hot tub.
Well, it can be. It can be. There is a heater there on the left.
Yes. So yeah, they're chilling, having a little conversation, and Cooper's talking about how, have you ever thought about leaving Vault-Tec, getting another job? And she's like, not really. Like, I like my job. And he talks about how he's thought about quitting show business and he'd like to have a ranch near Bakersfield. Was it near Bakersfield? You said near Bakersfield.
North of LA, yeah.
Yeah. And she thinks he's very silly. And he's very critical of her working for Vault-Tec. And this is one of the first times that I feel like she really slips the facade when she says, I need this job to guarantee us a place in one of the vaults. He
Mhm.
says, we have money. We can buy a place in the vaults. And she says, no, one of the good vaults.
And then catches herself. Oops, I should not have said that. I should not have said that. And his eyebrows went up real hard at that comment.
Because the existence of good vaults implies that there are bad ones.
That's right. And to her cracking under pressure and letting that slip, it's kind of a result of the one time he actually kind of swings back. He doesn't swing hard, but usually he kind of acquiesces and just, I love you, honey. But this was
He
the
gives her
first
her
time
way.
where he really kind of like throws something at her, and she immediately responds with no. Hard no.
You can tell she's under a lot of pressure.
Yeah. She makes it pretty clear that it's very important to her that this works, not just for her, but for the people she cares about. And that list is very short.
Yes.
And the next scene is
Cooper and their
Cooper in a
daughter.
bar. Sorry, the next scene is Cooper is sitting in a bar and he's watching a television. It says something about peace talks being stalled, and his friend walks up and they have a conversation. And I
was supposed to pick it up there, huh?
Worst script in the world. We're following a transcript to try to like keep on track, but I am, and they
I
don't.
had no idea we had a transcript.
Well, don't even look at it because it's the worst freaking thing in the world. There's no names, there's no scene breaks, like you can't even tell where it picks up and leaves.
Well, that's
off.
fine. I literally watched this episode 20 minutes before we went live, so I'm ready to handle this.
Go ahead.
You guys got a transcript?
I don't have a transcript.
I don't
Anyways,
need it. It's fine.
So Cooper's actor friend sits down next to them, and he's talking about power imbalances. And I feel like because Cooper does a lot of Western movies and the friend is Native American, he's in a really unique position to talk about those power imbalances because Cooper gets all these amazing roles and he's generic Indian number 4. And and Cooper jumps in trying to defend him, like, no, your character was amazing. He could talk to horses. And this guy's a realist. He's like, no, I was generic Indian number 4. Like, and he talks about power imbalances and how this is the world that you fought for is not the world that we have, Cooper. And I think you should come to one of these meetings, and because the people have to stand up. And Cooper accepts the card, and I was surprised that he even considered it. You know what I mean? I feel like he's such a strongly he's definitely drunk the hyperbolic all-American Kool-Aid, and I was surprised he even listened.
Well, no. Not necessarily. This speaks to the time that he spent with this guy in the war, right? He's so dismissive about so many other things and so many other people, but when this guy spoke, he listened, right? So that speaks to the gravitas of the stuff they've been through together. And this one short conversation, I don't know how often they get together at the bar, but this one short one-off conversation was enough where Coop was like, sounds kind of like some of the other stuff that Cogsworth guy was saying, like he starts piecing together some of the things, and that really is what sets him off on his quest. You can tell at the end of this scene, he accepts the quest. He takes the card and he's like, all right.
He's definitely open to being educated. You know what I mean? He definitely wants to learn more. And I feel like that's one of the biggest differences between pre-war Coop and post-war Coop. Post-war Coop does not want to hear what you have to say. Like, not at all. So scrolling through this, we're just going through the conversation they had.
This guy's ponytail is immaculate.
It really is
so tightly wound and tipped perfectly. His hair's just perfectly slicked back. I got an Irish mop. Hair. I'm so jealous. I wish my hair could do that.
He had beautiful hair. So here Cooper answers the phone in his home, and it is his wife's new assistant. I believe his name was Henry. doesn't matter. He tells him that his wife does not like to take business calls in the evening, and talk to you later. And he's chatting with his wife. He's like, "Hey, did you get a new assistant?" She's telling him yes. And they have another conversation that's a little bit fraught. And I feel like this is another motivation for him to attend this meeting.
That's right. They sort of get into a bit of a tiff here, don't they?
Mm-hmm. The daughter's gone to bed. She's reading stories to the dog, and she mentions how it's going to be really hard for Janie because there are no dogs allowed in the vault.
Yeah, man, I would have lost my shit right there. Excuse me? What do you
Mm-hmm.
mean no dogs in the vault? Man's best friend not allowed in the vault.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And Cooper is annoyed by this, but he uses it as sort of a fulcrum, because it's like the final thing that is pushing him to really push back against her Vault-Tec. And she's very, very firm in the fact that she is doing this for the people she loves. And that's that, basically.
Avoidable inefficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that this is the best future they can hope for their daughter. And it's absolutely non-negotiable for her.
Yeah, this was an uncomfortable scene.
It really was. It really was.
Then we're back in the overseer's office in Vault 4. Lucy is talking to the overseer. And
Mhm.
I think what I find interesting about this scene is that his desk, for somebody who seems so totally together, his desk is a total disaster.
Well, that's how it is.
That desk looks perfectly reasonable to me. That's about what my desk looks like.
No,
Yeah,
this
no,
this
that's how
desk
it is.
this desk is the
Yeah,
desk of
that's
an overseer who does not have a shit together.
my guy. This is exactly what my desk looks like.
Okay, sure.
Shailene, do you also accidentally drink out of yesterday's coffee mug?
Yes, except it's tea.
Well, I mean, the thing is the guy has like 20 coffee mugs on his desk.
Mm-hmm.
I also like that he put glasses on, but it was like 2 lenses. Like, what is any of that gonna do for you? Like,
Lucy's face when she sees the glasses.
she was like, "Huh?"
I think you mean Goosey.
Lucy
Oh,
Goosey.
that's right. Nope, it says here Goosey,
That was
and he
one
sticks to that
of
bit so hard.
that is one of the best pieces of writing in the whole season, in my opinion. Lucy Goosey.
Oh, it was so good. So good. And she has the absolute temerity to ask what is on level 12. And at that point, his kind and welcoming demeanor completely folds, and he says, "This conversation is over. See yourself out, Goosey."
Yeah, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Failed an investigation check on that one.
Skedaddle, he says. Meanwhile,
This is the best.
Maximus has a moment of more than 2 intelligence points, and I'm so proud of him here. He sees his armor and he's pleased to see it, and he's thinking about that missing fusion core. And there's a fella over here just changing one of the light bulbs in the vault, and that light bulb turns on right over Maximus's head, and he starts
Quite
thinking
literally.
about
Yes, that's quite brilliant. Yeah.
Where do you guys get your power?
Yeah.
They literally used a light bulb for his idea.
This
The point to point there was so good.
was his one moment of brilliance. I was so proud of him in this scene. And he finds his way down to where they have the fusion core. And I had a little rant to Arshin earlier about like why is power armor so dang inefficient, right? They've got this fusion core in the vault. It's running the vault for like 200 years. But you pop that thing in a set of power armor and it's dead in 45 minutes. What the heck? What the heck?
It's true. It's true.
So Birdie walks in on him attempting to steal the fusion core, and instead she offers him his own room with a hot shower
And a Pip-Boy.
And he's
Distraction
like,
101. Look,
what
shiny.
exactly do you mean by hot shower? He says.
Yeah.
And I love that this is just, it firmly cements the different paths that he and
Oh, yeah.
Lucy are taking in their Vault 4 journey. He sees his new apartment and it's amazing. There's a waterfall on the TV.
I
And they
just
left
want to
him a little
say
basket of snacks.
that I absolutely love the lamps. And I
They're
want
so good.
I want the lamps in real life. I want them
Mhm.
in real life, you guys.
And so many of these are actual in-game assets. And it's so
Yes.
brilliant seeing these things brought to life.
I just loved
Also seeing them
his
before they were destroyed. A lot of the stuff we
Yes.
saw is, burnt and,
Mhm.
maimed, but this is fresh, straight from,
Yes.
yeah.
would-be IKEA.
And we seen the first couple episodes of the season of Lucy walking through the beach and the forest and just checking things out and exploring and seeing the world for the first time. And this is Maximus seeing the world for the first time
Mhm.
that he's never seen before. He's just totally enthralled by the luxury of this vault is meeting all of his wildest dreams. They're all
The
coming
luxury of
true.
running water.
The running water and how he
His
can't believe
face.
that there is clean running water.
Yeah, right here. He's like, wait, this just comes out. I can get as much as oh my, and like he with his hand doesn't even go look for a
Scooping
cup. He's just
water
like,
into his
now I want
mouth.
this. This is awesome because
And the caviar. The caviar.
when he goes out the hallway, what is this?
I love the little like gift basket. There's like yum deviled eggs
Mhm.
and some
fancy lads.
fancy lads and
Yeah.
things.
There's
Yeah.
a can of cram. Yeah.
He goes out,
really
he's like,
enjoying it.
what is this? It's caviar. Meanwhile, Lucy is wandering around. She goes to the classroom and she's
Here is where she gets her primer of the history of the last 200 years.
Yes, a lot of environmental storytelling here.
So we got 2142 Shady Sands founded, 2189 New California Republic created, 2198 Shady Sands becomes the capital of the NCR. And then NCR becomes the largest economic and political power in California, 2241.
And these
then-
early events, you get to see those events happen in Fallout 1 and Fallout 2.
And then 2277, the fall of Shady Sands.
So that's all Fallout 1 and 2 on that chalkboard right now?
The first half of the chalkboard, yes, are
Okay.
events. You get to meet, I think, the first president of the NCR.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. Any other observations from the classroom? I like that we see the fan.
They do have the little memorial on the
stapler.
blackboard remembering Shady Sands.
Mm-hmm.
An
Are those
abacus at
abacuses
every
on the
desk.
desk?
Yep.
They are.
Same. Yeah, abacus at every desk.
That's great.
I wonder if there's some kind of, because brilliant nerds make this, I wonder. Now, I grew up in a world where like Mortal Kombat codes were in credits for films. If the numbers on those
yes.
abacus mean anything, like if
You were
you just
thinking
looked at
about
the
an
whole
alternate
room,
reality game.
well, I mean, if you take all the numbers that are on
Mhm.
right there, boom, that shot, like, I wonder if those numbers mean anything because they're not all the same. It could be
No.
nothing, but conspiracy
It could
theories
be
and the
something.
internet.
Fallout is the type
knows?
of universe where that subtlety may be a thing.
Mhm.
Bethesda games are the types of games where that could be a thing. So
Mhm.
I wonder, hey, if anybody in the future figures that out, leave a comment down at the bottom of the podcast or the video because I'd like to know.
Mm-hmm.
And we flash back to Cooper and these sheriffs who are taking him to the government.
Of course, there's
I
more.
like that he's daydreaming the whole way.
Mhm. I appreciate that there are little factions in
Mhm.
this show
I love
that we
this-
haven't seen before.
I love this shot because on the wall behind Cooper, we see a wanted poster, a drawing of Moldaver, some other characters, but then a wanted poster of a ghoul, or not a ghoul,
That's
a super mutant.
yeah.
So I wonder if this is, are we going to see Super Mutant in season 2?
I hope so.
I hope so, because we didn't see one in season 1. And we meet, what's his name?
I don't remember.
Sorrel Booker, played by Glenn Fisher.
These guys have history.
Glenn Fleshler. Boy, that's a name.
He knows a little bit more about Cooper's history than I think most people do.
He does. They both have a history, and everyone else in that room has no idea, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is his hat on straight now?
I couldn't tell.
Let's go back and take a look. Nope.
It might be on right, but just badly shaped.
Maybe this hat just doesn't fit him.
It might just be badly shaped.
Anyways,
So he starts sewing his finger back on. And I don't understand, because didn't Lucy bite this off?
yes.
Now,
Why
both
is
of
it
them
so
have,
clean?
but
why
both
is-
of them have zombie fingers now.
But why is it so clean? Shouldn't
Why-
it be?
That's Lucy's finger.
Oh, that's Lucy's finger.
It's Lucy's finger.
That's right.
Because he
that's
cut her
right.
finger off, remember?
That is right. That is Lucy's finger.
Yeah,
You are
so-
correct. I missed that entirely.
Yeah, that's
So
Lucy's.
he is sewing Lucy's finger on.
You thought it was like he had this beautiful, like, because they cut his finger off, it got better.
I thought that was the finger that she bit off. And I was like, why is it so cleanly cut
She
off?
has his
Like,
finger.
Does she have his finger?
Next time you
No.
look at her hand.
No,
Doesn't
she
no,
get-
that's a different
doesn't she
finger.
get a-
She
like-
she spit his finger out. The finger that she has is a random finger
It was
from the
from the
drawer
drawer.
in the Super
Oh.
Duper Mart.
It was
yeah.
a drawer
Okay.
finger, and it's
It was-
gray.
It was a drawer of fingers. Yeah, terrible.
I love her gray finger.
Now, actually, Shalene, I don't know if you noticed this, but Cooper's collar here. Do you see that under his jacket? It's his original cowboy uniform from when he was acting.
It is. Yes, when he was doing the kids' parties, it is
Mhm.
that same
Yeah,
embroidered collar. That is some well-made
and
apparel.
I don't know. Is there ever a moment where we noticed this before?
I've never noticed it before.
I'm gonna have to go back and look. I feel like
Kinda
that's
tracks.
something
That's
I
what
would
he
have
was
noticed.
wearing when he rode off. So
So they have this conversation. The Super Duper Mart was under the protection of the government. And so he's saying, like, you have to pay for the destruction of the Super Duper Mart.
Yeah.
Cooper's not bothered. He's not bothered. And he says, well, since we're on that, I also killed like 9 guys in Philly. If we want to talk about the bad things I've done.
What I find
they
interesting
exhibited
here
the
is
bloody
that
mess perk.
I actually gained kind of a different perspective on the NCR in watching this episode, because I
Mhm.
always thought the NCR to be sort of like, I don't know, the Minutemen of New Vegas. in a
These guys are
sense.
not the NCR though.
No, they're like, this guy is like the crime boss, and the Super Duper Mart is their drug mule, and you know, like, it's what it is.
Yeah, the government is its own little faction. It's not related to NCR.
Didn't he make him some kind of comment about there was a power vacuum, so he stepped up,
Mhm.
something like that?
Yes. And Howard makes a comment about one of these gentlemen's dad being a coward, and basically he just proceeds to murder both of the sheriffs horribly and just completely ventilate their bodies.
I love it.
He shot one of those guys right up Main Street, and I winced when I saw it because never get used to seeing that.
Then we switch scenes back in time to Cooper, and he's driving his beautiful car. He's driving through a cemetery, and the cemetery is called Hollywood Forever.
Mhm. It is a funeral home, cemetery, and crematorium. And this is where the communist meetings are happening.
Brilliant. It's so good. This car, though, this car is. I don't even. What kind of car is this?
It's definitely a Corvega.
Is it a Corvega?
Mhm.
But like in real life, is this another car in real
That's
life?
not a
No,
real
this is a
car.
Corvega. It's not a real car. It's a Corvega.
That looks like a Chevy Nomad that he parked behind, though.
That was a brief snapshot of him arriving at this place, but then we go back to Vault 4, where there's some mischief going on.
Yes, there are a bunch of people going in the same direction. And Lucy asks about it, and one of the gentlemen says, "Oh, it's one of those surface dweller traditions. Gets a little too rowdy for me." But one of the surface dwellers invites Lucy, "You can come along if you like." And she's like, "Yeah, okay." And she just joins right in here. I think it's very funny how quickly she just joined in. No idea what's going on here. She just takes off her Pip-Boy, puts it in the box with the other ones. I would never have done this. I might have watched from the back, but I would not be like joining into the ceremony, not knowing what was happening, not knowing what anything meant. And this is the time where you need to start being a little careful about scrubbing through the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're lighting candles, and at first it seems very normal, like we're just having a memorial for the people we lost in Shady Sands, which is what we're doing. But it's a little less normal than we think at the beginning. And
Then
we're jumping back and forth.
Yeah, we jump back to Hollywood Forever.
Yeah, the cadence of the show picks up right here. They jump back and forth between these two scenes quite a bit, and the music's escalating, and there's a parody with the both of them kind of seeing behind the curtain of a cult, quote unquote, right? So
it's really ramping up the tension, isn't it?
AX4X Boost in the chat says that Cooper's car is in 1954 Kaiser Darren, and this is a real vehicle. This thing has a V8 engine in it, you guys.
What? In that little thing?
Stand corrected.
I stand corrected. I know a lot about cars, and I've
you
never
can buy
seen
them.
that car before.
You can buy them on Hemmings for 50 grand. They're quite beautiful. Let me show you this. Look at this. Look at this, you guys. You want to go car shopping?
Okay.
Oh, look at this one. 132,000.
Wow. But it totally looks like it would fit in the Fallout universe. Am I right?
Is this the car? Is this why it's 132,000?
That might be.
It looks like the same one.
If I win tonight's lottery, you guys, this is the first thing I'm buying.
Okay.
Ridiculous.
I would buy a NSX Type S, but hey, you do you.
I would just pay off the Bronco.
And get.
Did you name the Bronco?
I have not named the Bronco.
Shailene!
Can you name it Shailene?
No. You have a quest.
Oh,
the clock is ticking.
Okay, carry on.
He's walking up the stairs, and he's dressed kind of incognito in his fedora and his long coat.
You know what? I like the juxtaposition, the juxtaposition between the people in the vault praying or whatever, praising, and him walking up these stairs to like stained glass windows in a church kind of thing. Weird.
There's a lot of parody in tone with these two different places. You think it's one thing, but the closer you look, the more you see, the less you find it is what you think.
And the people in the vault are waving their arms, and we go back to Cooper, and he is like nervously approaching this meeting.
I want that hat so bad.
Okay. Skipping. Close your eyes, children. Close your eyes. So the people start to disrobe, and the people
without any kind of warning.
Yeah, they just strip to the waist, and just scroll a good chunk forward.
There we go.
Here we go. This is a good spot to end, and it is really interesting how this is two sides of the same coin, and we see that they begin to worship this person. I forget the name they call her, like the Mother of Fire. Flame Mother, and they're saying like Flame Mother will be our savior, and they bring out this massive portrait of Moldaver, of course, who Lucy recognizes as the dad stealer.
Yep.
Yeah, she steals dads.
She steals dads. And on the other side of the coin, we have Coop in the communist meeting, and he meets pre-war Moldaver, who is just a very quiet and frumpy looking woman.
Frumpy? What are you talking about?
I thought she was a little frumpy.
I would disagree.
Well, okay, we see very well put together lady with some very large glasses. And she is the head of the communist meeting as well. So Lucy's horrified. She runs back to Maximus. This is the perfect shot that you've frozen on. The horror on her face is just
because he's living his best life.
Mhm.
While the vault is in utter chaos, he's just sitting there, eating popcorn
In his
and having the
bathrobe.
best time with caviar.
But she gave me slippers and
Yeah.
a robe. How could they be bad?
And Lucy's flight or fight kicks in, and she's like, "We got to get out of here. We have to leave this place. This is bad, right?"
But instead of leaving, where does she
She
go?
decides to investigate level 12.
The one thing she
Yes.
was told not to do,
Mm.
like right away, and twice even. And of course, she makes a beeline for it. I don't blame her. I would do the same thing. I'm a gamer. We go
Yeah.
where the quest goes.
So she gets to level 12, and
I knew to expect something bad here in level 12, but I was even a little shocked.
That scene right there
Yeah,
grossed me out to no end.
she's watching a TV, and a human woman gives birth to some kind of maritime abomination that I think becomes Gulbers, and then they eat her.
Multiple abominations
Yes, many
are
of them.
birthed and then
Many of
immediately
them.
turn and oh look, food, and she's the only thing around. So
And that was one of the most
Oh.
horrifying things. Oh, it was terrible. Terrible.
that was real gross.
and then there's these
gross.
pods with all of
She
these.
sees all these women in tanks, pregnant women in tanks.
Yeah. And somebody comes into the room, and she has to hide.
Yeah, fails the
And-
stealth check pretty bad.
He says something like, "Oh, I'm glad you ladies are okay. I was afraid one of you got out." And
Wouldn't that be weird?
yeah, it sounds ominous, and Lucy takes it that way. And she throws some acid in his face. He calls security. People are fighting. Lucy makes an excellent showing of herself in this fight. I was
Good
I was really
CQC
proud of her.
skills. Her martial hand-to-hand skills
Mhm.
really, really good in the scene. She takes
And
on what, 5 people?
She is finally subdued, and she tells Bertie, "You people are crazy." Bertie says, "I'm sure if we went to your home, we would feel the same way."
You can't be mad at that logic, but I
Mhm.
still don't. It's like, no.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
Eating a bowl of popcorn in his bathrobe, and that is where the episode ends.
I want one of those bathrobes though. Just saying, with the little
I'll bet they sell them. I'll bet they do.
somebody somewhere probably does.
Mhm. I wouldn't be surprised if you could find that in the official Bethesda store.
possibly, yeah. Oh, let's go back through the credits too. I forgot about that. So we have Fiddlesticks with the Fallout Boy thumbs up, and he's got a fiddle in his hands. We have some images of, what does that say? On the Air, the radio station, where I think, what's his name?
This one looks like an in-game screenshot, man. This does not look like.
Well,
Yeah.
the
Absolutely
art
looks
the
like
art style in the credits was always this different art style, right?
Mhm.
This camera pan though, it does feel like something straight out of the game,
Yeah, very good.
complete with
Raymond
storytelling
Jawadi-
skeletons.
I think we've talked about this before. Isn't he the same guy who scored Game of Thrones?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
Do you want to know something cool? I'm working with a videographer for my research who did some filming for Game of Thrones.
That's really neat.
Fun.
Yeah, he was over in New Zealand working and filming Game of Thrones. Anyways, little
What did you
tidbit.
guys think of the episode?
I thought it was okay. I didn't like that they were flashing in between the Communist Party and the Vault
Mhm.
worship culty thing. I would have liked if they just showed that scene and then showed the other scene. For me as a viewer, I found it was a little bit too hard to follow.
I thought it was really great about building the tension. I actually enjoyed that
Mm.
they did that.
Mm.
And
Yeah, we the viewer got to see the reveal at the same time.
the modern
two different
face and the
ways.
historic face of Moldaver being revealed like basically simultaneously was fascinating.
Okay, I'm gonna ask the stupid question as I am the pleb in the Fallout universe, but I'm gonna do it. 100, 219 years or something like that.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
How? Now, I
That
get that
yeah.
Coop was probably like, in like a sensory deprivation chamber being fed, life-sustaining things intravenously, but how? How she looks so good
Mm-hmm.
being so old? Like, I don't even have the words to put together because maybe there's something in the story, in the lore, in the Fallout universe that I don't know that, unnaturally extends people's life. Is
That
she
was
like an
absolutely
android
something
or
that
something? Like,
shocked
what the
all
fuck?
of us. We were all asking ourselves the same question.
Okay, so it's not
How is
just
she
me.
so
Good.
well preserved?
Okay. Not just me. Okay. So there's probably an
Mhm.
answer coming somewhere someday about that.
Mhm.
Okay. I can live with that.
Yeah,
Still weird, but I can live with that.
Yeah, I think it was a good episode.
it was.
The rubber really hits the road. If season 1 has 3 acts, this is where act 3 begins.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Well, that's a show. Anyone else? Did anyone play Fallout? I did not play any Fallout. It's been a crazy. I don't even know.
I played a bit of 76, but I don't know if I can really say that I played 76 as much as that I went through and redeemed my prizes from last scoreboard. That was pretty much what I did.
Mm.
Inventory
you,
minigame
Tim?
totally counts.
Mhm.
Man, I haven't played much Fallouts. I dabbled in 76, but I'm kind of like a passenger in a sidecar in that one as I'm, kind of derping along, following along with everybody else. I do really like the sword that I was gifted. It's amazing. Thank you, Shailene. And I'm sticking with revolvers because it was a suggestion from Jessica Starr, and I think it's good. I like having
So when
a
you
six
play with
shooter.
Jessie, are you basically her NPC?
I am exactly, yes. I am that companion that I can
Yeah.
carry your burdens for you. I can help kill stuff. If you need help solving a puzzle, I'm there. Like, I like the
Mhm.
game, but I know myself that I haven't really jumped in with both feet. So someday I might.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I love the game though. It's
A
fun to
lot of
wander
times
around.
when I play with other people, I feel like an NPC. Like I'm just the companion character.
Sometimes it's okay though. You kind of just take the car out of gear and let it cruise
Mhm.
for a while. You don't always have to be mashing and redlining it. Sometimes you
Oh
just want
yeah.
to,
I
tag
don't mean
along.
it in a bad way, but it's a
Yeah.
thing. Like it's a
I
thing.
Yeah, I didn't take it as one.
Mhm.
I love a good co-op game. You guys know my favorite games are the multiplayer ones usually. So,
Mm.
but yeah, 76. I dabble. I really like Fallout Shelter. I've named everybody in my vault after everybody I know, and it's statistically perfect. I have a spreadsheet. I don't have to run it. It runs itself.
Okay,
It's
you're a
awesome.
Nice.
nerd. You're a nerd.
You're just now finding this out.
You're a Fallout nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I nerd out
You
about
totally meet the
stats
criteria.
and trends and data points and these kinds of things. If I make a spreadsheet for something, it's because I like it. So
Mhm.
yeah, I have been playing those two off and on a bit. I want to get into New Vegas. From everything I've heard from all of your guys' podcasts, and whatnot, New
Vegas is the
Vegas
best.
feels like it would be the one that would get me,
New
and I
Vegas
own
is
it.
the
I
best.
just need to settle in and play it. But
I want New Vegas
yeah.
remastered.
You might get that. A lot of those people are under the same roof again.
I want it remastered.
Mhm.
The community needs to
I
rise up.
want.
How
I
many
want to wake
times
up.
have
I want
we
to wake up and see
manifested a
Doc
thing?
Brown. I want Doc Brown to patch me up and send me out.
Yeah.
Head on down to Gene's skydiving. Stupid Benny in his stupid suit. Stupid.
Is there some trauma here that you want to discuss? You want to work through this right now?
New Vegas is a special place for me. Special place.
Such a good game.
Anyways,
Such
that's a
good
show, folks. Thank you all for listening. Next Friday, I think we're doing GameStack, maybe. Shalene, are you on a
As far as I know, we're doing Game Stack.
conference, vacation, Pokemon Go? Don't forget, the show is sponsored by Oak and Crow Coffee. If you head on over to oakandcrow.com, you can pick up a bag of Weeches of Coffee blend, and $2 from every purchase of that blend goes to the Children's Miracle Network. Tim, any announcements or shout outs on your end or from your network? Any work projects that you're doing?
I was actually since the last time I was on, I was told, and I quote, "You really need to learn how to promote yourself." Because the last time you asked me this, I was like, "Nah, I'm just hanging around Discord doing nothing." But I feel like I'm always busy doing something. I'm running an alliance in Marvel Strike Force, which is a mobile game that has been keeping my attention in between all the other video games I play. Thursday nights still going strong with 7 Days to Die, which has hit version 1.0. And yes, the screamers suck. Screamers chain other screamers, and screamers summon other zombies. Those things are terrible. I did a Castlevania Symphony of the Night stream a little bit ago where I'm going through it on hard mode with the luck code and the lapis lazuli. I just rolled the first of 3 endings, and I'm about halfway through the game. If you know, you know. I
I'm
also
gonna
had
have to go back and watch that. I love
Yeah.
watching you stream those games because,
I-
like, it's like you're very good at them, right? So
I've heard
watching you
this.
play Castlevania is a completely different experience than like when I play Castlevania. Like, it's a
I've heard
different
this.
game.
You're not
And
the
I
only person
really
that's told me
enjoy
that, so
really enjoy
I have
watching
to
you play
believe you.
that style of game.
Yeah, it's really good. Like I said, if you know, you know, I'm halfway through the game. I also had a massive Baldur's Gate 3 stream where Jesse and I played co-op with mods, and she's kind of helping me get a couple of these quests going. And it was my most productive stream ever. I got so much stuff done, and Baldur's Gate 3 is amazing. I'm not going to get into that right now. You guys know. I also haven't streamed any of it yet, but I installed and got running all of the Legacy of Kain games on Steam, so stay tuned for that. And to continue the blood-sucking theme, I also picked up the Castlevania Dominus collection, which is Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, and Aria of Sorrow, so stay tuned for that. And I also, continuing on the blood-sucking vampire trend, I also recently reinstalled all of the old Blood Rain games so I can hear Laura
Ooh.
Bailey's voice in my ear again, and go hacking and slashing some Nazis and having some good action hack and slash with that. So I'm always doing stuff. I'm just really, really, really terrible at promoting myself.
And
I've been
if we
streaming for
wanted to
10
watch you
years and
stream
I
this
just
stuff, where
don't.
would we go?
I use the same handle absolutely everywhere. TIMTWIGG81. If you put that into your favorite platforms and I come up, hey, you found me. I'm on Twitch. I archive all my videos on YouTube. I'm always having movie nights and Saturday morning cartoons and Discord. Like, I'm always doing stuff, but like I never go backwards. It's always forward. It's a part of that ADHD thing. I'm terrible at promoting myself, so if you guys want to help me, please. I'm so bad. Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope.
Well, go and check out Tim on all of the things. You can also find him on Twitter at TimTwig81.
And
Myself,
get some Oak and Crow coffee. It's really good.
you can find
confirm
you
it's
can
good coffee.
find Shalene and myself on Twitter. Shalene at Shalene L, myself at Vendertron N. The show, That Fallout Show, also on Twitter, and our network at We Just Love Games. We Just Love Games. X is a thing. Facebook.com/That Fallout Show, as well as /group/That Fallout Show, and the We Just Love Games Network also has a Facebook page and a groups. So check that out. Email us at info@wejustlovegames.com, or you can send us some mail in the Mailstack channel in the Discord. And like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/WeJustLoveGames. You can find our show on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Please leave us a review. We will see you all next Friday, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/WeJustLoveGames. Shalene, what is your last word?
This conversation is over, Goosey. Skedaddle.
Okie dokie.